Can I pick up on the reference to the media? It's a good opportunity to do it. I think the media in our society has one important failure, at least one. I mean, there are a lot of pluses, and obviously in the free media of the kind we have. But the media tends to ignore an issue unless there's open scandal on the one hand or open conflict on the other. And so politicians agreeing, for example, never gets reported. Or people who are largely out of sight in society, and by that I mean the poor, are normally not talked about at all. A newspaper from time to time will do a series, maybe on the poor, or a television channel may devote one program to it. But the social injustice of, for example, child poverty, an issue that I've concerned myself with ever since my last speech in the House of Commons in 1989, we have virtually the same number of children living in poverty today as we had in 1989 when Parliament passed a resolution saying we should get rid of child poverty within the decade. How many stories do we read in our papers about child poverty? Not very many. So there is a problem with a media that is focused largely to conflict or to scandal. I mean, it's desirable in a democratic society that you have a media that talks about political conflict or other kinds of conflict. Scandal we could do much less of. But what I'm emphasizing is the sort of banal and for many people dull, commonplace aspect of poverty isn't discussed.
Sure.
And unless you're one of the poor, it doesn't seem very important to people's lives.
I've heard people say, and I guess why I grow cynical from time to time, where you'll have people that will say, why worry about that issue because they don't vote, others vote, et cetera, as well, which again talks about, I think, some of the issues of our times that we live in. Part of it's tied to media. I think part of it is tied to, maybe we do too much polling and that type of thing and not really focusing on what our raison d'etre should be. One of the things that's really clear to me, I think, more and more as well, is as governments, I think we compartmentalize people. We have the person walking through the door that has mental health issues, they have income issues, they have addictions issues, they have education issues, they have maybe justice issues, and we have a whole bunch of people working on their behalf, but a minimal amount of coordination and cooperation, and really departments that are compartmentalized or siloized or whatever you want to call it. And long term, how we can change even how governments in general, not the political entity, but the administrative entity, work on behalf of people's needs too. And I think we need to be more holistic as we deal with people. Part of that is on the engagement initially, but then parts on service and how we change as well.